Hey guys, it's Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge again, and today, as you saw in the headline, we're taking a look at a chef's knife. I'm only going to be reviewing the 8-inch chef's knife, not the paring knife. I don't think I'll ever review this. Yeah, it's a good paring knife, but I'll stick just one knife in this video. And this knife is available in this set or as the knife alone. $79.95 US for the set, $59.95 for the knife. And so it's in a good price range with a steel that I've never reviewed before. Very hard steel. And there's some special things about this knife I think you might be interested in. So stick it around, stick yourself around. Keep watching. That's what I mean. First off, here is the specs for the kit that I got, or the packaging labels. It's distributed by Cutlery and More, LLC. And, there's the info. You can pause on there and read that if you want. Here's the box that it comes in. You saw that at the intro. And the box, inside the box, is this piece of paper. And this piece of paper says, see full collection at nexusknives.com. When you go to nexusknives.com, it immediately brings you over to Cutlery and More. That leads me to believe that Nexus is Cutlery and More's house brand. And it even said on the white package that you saw before that it's distributed by Cutlery and Knives. You can get this knife directly from their website or for the same price at Amazon.com. I saw a listing for the chef's knife on Amazon.ca, but it was out of stock. I'll leave links down below for all three places, and hopefully you'll have access to this knife if you want to get one. I'll just briefly show the paring knife. It's a 3.5-inch paring knife, full tang, G10 handle scales, and it's a good paring knife. But we won't be reviewing that today. So let's take a look at this knife. I think I need to adjust the lighting in here. Give me a minute. This knife has got a fairly thin edge, and it's best to get a little bit thicker of an edge if you're going to be chopping through harder stuff. This really is for the finesse cutting, because when I give you the specs, you might be surprised how thin this edge is. There's the specs: Nexus 8-inch knife, CTS, that's Carpenter Technology, whatever the name is, but it's a USA brand steel. BD1N is a very high steel, hard steel, I should say high. It's a premium steel. It's got very good specs. Rockwell on this is around 56. No, what am I thinking? 63. How did I get 56 out of that? My brains did a little jump. 63 Rockwell hardness on this. And as you can see, it's got a straight back, and then it's got the drop point up here. And then you got a bit of a belly and a long edge. It's just bellied a little bit all the way. And so it's got a good rocking action. You can rock it like this when you're cutting. And that's a great way to use this knife. It's actually a little over 8 inches. I like how the heel is non-bolstered or not thickened back here. Some knives, they thicken the end of the heel right here, and that can become a problem. Or it can be a benefit. It all depends on how you look at it. But this one's got a really nice heel on it. I like it a lot. It's a really well done knife. And let's zoom this thing up just a little bit so you can see the whole thing at once. Okay, the whole thing's barely on screen, but you can see it all. Let's talk about the weight. The weight of this knife is 210 grams, 7.4 ounces. Not bad for a full tang blade, a little bit of a bolster, and this much steel over here, but it is quite thin. The cutting edge length, so from the heel to the tip, is 21.27 centimeters, 8.375, so 8 3/8 of an inch. That's pretty good. The blade length, so tip to where the plunge ends, at the thin edge here, 22.23 centimeters, 8.75 inches, and they call it an 8-inch knife, so they're giving you more than you paid for. You paid for an 8-inch knife, and you're getting 8 3/8 of a cutting edge. Good for them. The blade thickness, Right here, close to the handle, it's at its thickest, 2.25 millimeters, 0.886 of an inch, and the distal taper begins immediately. That means it starts getting thinner, slowly getting thinner, and then for the last inch and a half, it speeds up getting thinner right to the tip. The blade depth, and I measured right about here. I usually measure about an inch up from where the sharpness choil is, in this case the heel, so right about there. 4.58 centimeters, 1.8 inches. The thickness of the edge right behind the grind right there, it is 0.23 millimeters. That's 0.0905 of an inch. Very, very thin behind the edge, and it gets a little bit thinner when you're getting close to the tip. So thinner on the spine, thinner on the tip, so you can do some really precise work near the tip of this blade. The steel is hard enough and durable enough so it doesn't chip easy, it doesn't crack, doesn't do any of those things easily, that it works well being that thin, and especially the very thinness up here at the cutting edge. Under 0.2 millimeters when you get close to the the tip of the blade, I should say. The grind angle, they say it's ground at 15 degrees. Well, I measured, and it's 15.5 degrees on the back side, and on the show side, that's where the labeling is, was 16.7 degrees. So a little bit greater of an angle than they said. Not bad at all. That's how the factory did it. They don't say it, but this thing's got a very tiny bit of a micro bevel. Now that could have been done through some stropping that they might have done, or through, running it across a different sharpness edge, like a very fine stone or something. I'm not sure. Let me show you a picture of when I measured the edge. You can see a little bit of the black ink from the Sharpie. And on one of them, you can see just a little bit of a change right at the cutting edge. At least I could, to see the micro bevel. Okay, so there's that. The handle length is 12.8 centimeters, 5.04 inches. The handle thickness, at the thickest spot right here, is right at 2 centimeters, 0.787 inches. The handle depth, it's biggest right there, 2.5 centimeters, that's 0.984 inches. And then the grip area in between here, it's basically 11 centimeters, 4.33 inches. You got a little fudge room because, you've got rounded corners here. So yeah, that's roughly the size. The total length of this knife, 34.9 centimeters from the end of the handle to the tip of the blade, and that equals 13.74 inches. The sharpness of the edge, using my standardized testing, came in at 185 grams of pressure needed to cut that monofilament, and that's actually a little worse than I was expecting. With how thin this edge is and the grind angle, I was expecting it to be, closer to 100. But, anything under 200 is considered fairly sharp. It'll get sharper next time when I sharpen it, and that will be very soon. We've used this a little bit. It cuts quite well. I'm not going to demonstrate cutting with it, because to demonstrate cutting with it shows much more the skill of the user than it does the cutting edge, especially on a chef's knife. Because somebody who's been a chef cutting for years, they can make a bad knife look awesome. And, I could make a really good knife look terrible, and I don't want to do that. This is a very good knife indeed. I bought this knife myself, paid, not full price because it was on sale. I didn't find the receipt. I don't remember exactly what I paid. I think it was $60 for the kit with both, whereas it's $59.95 for this knife alone. Do I think it's worth $59.95 US? Yes, I do. If you're in the market for a nice chef's knife, I think this is a good choice. I'll put the price for other countries, euros and pounds, on the screen, what that translates to from the US right now on the day I'm doing the review anyways. So the fit and finish, I would call it good. I didn't quite call it excellent because there was a tiny, superficial, very minor little scratch on the face of the blade when I got it. That's just a little quality control error. They should have sent it back to be buffed again on this edge, and that could have been cleaned up so easily. It is a stupid minor thing, very, very small, very tiny, doesn't take away points at all, but it does mean that it's not excellent, but it is very well done. They claim lifetime warranty on these, no questions asked, 100% satisfaction. Well, they might ask questions, but 100% satisfaction. You can return this thing lifetime for any reason, and they'll send you another one, or I guess they might repair it. Depends on their discretion. That's a really good thing. And if anybody has tested their warranty service, please let me know in the comments below. But that's a warranty that's really hard to fight, because that's a great warranty. Special features, that lifetime 100% satisfaction warranty, that's a good thing. I like the distal taper starts right away, and so the edge keeps getting finer, the spine keeps getting thinner and lighter. The balance point for this knife is, it's hard for me to hold it right there because it's right at that bolster part right there. It's just hard to get it, and since it's so sharp, it's hard to demonstrate. There you go. I've got it balanced in the air right now. So perfect balance point. Very good knife to use that way. Comfortable, easy grip. You know exactly which way the knife is because the sides are basically flat. So you always got a good feeling for when you've got the knife perpendicular to the cutting surface. Good sign that's got the full tang. And there really are no cons with this knife. It's just done a very good next to budget knife. You can get, a 12-inch chef's knife for less money, but it's hard to get one with this quality steel. CTS, the carpenter steel, the BD1N. It's a fairly high corrosion resistant knife, which is good for on a kitchen knife. And it's got a very hard cutting edge. When it's been hardened to 63, they claim that it's done to 63. And that's a very hard edge. And it cuts very well. So that's all I have to do for this review. I don't have anything more special to say other than I think it's worth it. Links are below. Thanks for watching my channel. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. If you've got any questions, put them down below, or anything you want to state. If you want to contact me directly, you can email me at canadiancutting@gmail.com. So in summary, the Nexus knife, in my opinion, is a good quality knife. It's not, professional class, but it's very close. So that's it. Remember, guys, always cut towards the cutting board and not yourself. Bye now.